This is an ABP Live Podcast.
Welcome to Cracking Conversations. I am Niharika Nanda, and in this podcast, we talk to people, share experiences, and crack meaningful conversations. So guys, today let's talk about something that is an integral part of each one of our lives: parenting. Parenting is not something that just stays with us for the amount of time that we live with our parents, like for 18 years or 26 years or 30 years. It is something that stays with us for our entire life. It is something that shapes us into the human beings that we become in the future. Having said that, we live in the 21st century, in 2022. How do we define parenting? How do we know that in such a dynamic world, our children are going to survive? In such a time, we need a guide. And for this, an amazing book has been written by an even amazing author. Active Parenting by G Vallath. Mr. G Vallath is an IIT alumni. He has worn multiple hats in his whole life, from being a tech company co-founder to being a motivational speaker who has inspired over 50,000 children in his whole life and is still on that road. And now he has turned a new page and is working as an author. He wrote his own best-selling novel, that is his autobiography, and now he has written a book about parenting, known as Active Parenting. And who better than himself to tell us more about his book? We welcome amongst us Mr. G Vallath. Sir, welcome to ABP Live Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic as usual. Thank you so much.
What's been going on? How has life been lately? How has everything been going?
Well, life has gone through its own ups and downs, but right now it's very interesting because I've been delivering loads of webinars to parents on how to bring up their children to be successful adults. And it's been a great, fantastic journey.
That's amazing, sir. So you have written a book by the name of Active Parenting, and it talks about modern day parenting and how we all have heard that usually kids are more comfortable with their parents when parents try to become their friends and not an authoritative figure in their life. So, and you have also touched this particular concept in your book. So how is it, sir, that how do parents befriend their child? How does this entire process take place between a relationship of a parent and a child?
So I think the most important aspect is to spend quality time with children. And I call it active time. Because it's not just spending time, but it's about being involved in their lives, understanding what's happening in their lives, sharing what's happening in your life with them, encouraging them to share their life with you without judging them, but being open to what they're saying and open to understanding that there are differences between human beings. So there would be differences of opinion, differences of perspective with your child. And it's good to have that because that means they're individuals who are confident about themselves. And so having lots of communication, doing activities together as a family, having shared experiences which bond yourself together, and also in terms of sharing life lessons from your own life with your child. These are all part of befriending. The reason befriending is so important is that as the children grow up and become tweens and teens, the influences in their life become tremendous. You know, there's so many influences that happen in their lives, including their friends and YouTube and the kind of celebrities they watch and the shows they watch.
Instagram
all these have
become
influence,
a huge influence lately.
Yeah, so the point is, unless the parents have a good connect with them, they will not be able to influence them in any way.
Very true.
And it is imperative that the parents have a lot of influence with their children so that they can guide them. Parents obviously have the best for their children in their hearts, right? So it's important that they have that ability to influence the children, and that can happen only with lots of friendship.
Very true, sir. And I think even children that way will feel more comfortable sharing whatever is going on in their lives with their parents. They will be more frank with their parents if they know that their parents won't be judging them or maybe scolding them for whatever is happening, and will actually have a practical conversation with them.
Exactly. That not being judgmental is a very, very important thing.
Very true.
And it is very the first instinct of a parent when they see a child not doing what they want them to do is to quickly jump in and try to correct and cold and say
Yes.
why this is wrong and
Right.
pontificate and give gyan, if you will.
Yeah,
But-
the whole idea is to remove the whole lecturing part from parenting, I guess.
Absolutely. You said it. The moment you start lecturing, you have lost your child. They
true.
switch off and then they go to their corner in their minds. They don't listen to you anymore.
Right. They feel that very school wala environment starts coming around, and then what is the difference between a teacher and a parent?
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, many of the teachers are far more cool and friendly nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. So, sir, in your book, you have talked about certain values that can be brought into the whole idea of parenting. And something that really caught my eye while I was actually going through it was how you have talked about that parents need to stop thinking of it being disrespectful if the child has a difference of opinion or a difference of perspective. So how do we create an environment as parents and as children where a difference of opinion and point of view is not seen as a disrespect, but is seen as a part of the whole healthy relationship idea?
The important thing to remember is that as an adult, we will come across many people who have vastly different viewpoints from us, vastly different perspectives, because their experience have been different. And now to then consider them as not good, or consider them as the bad people and then shut them out of your life is extremely dysfunctional as an adult, right? Because you need to be able to cooperate, work together with so many people with so many different viewpoints. So it's important to be able as an adult to respect the views and the values and the motives of others, and knowing that they could be very different from you because their upbringing and their life has been different. To make that happen, then the moment your child has a different viewpoint and then you start putting the child down, then what you're teaching the child is that anybody with a different viewpoint than you is somebody who need to be quelled, who need to be put down, who need to be suppressed. And tomorrow you will see that they come across somebody who has a difference of opinion, they'll start shouting at each other, or worse still, like what Will Smith did, go to the stage and slap the guy. Right? I mean, so yes, there could be words which hurt, there could be difference of opinion. That doesn't mean you go and aggressively counter it, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to discuss out things. You need to rationally discuss what is the difference, and then come to an understanding as to why there is a difference of opinion. And if so, respect each other's differences or try to convince each other.
Yeah.
And what doesn't happen in most parent-child relationships is parents come from this point of view that I've done it all, I know everything, I am so experienced, you are just a small little kid, what are you teaching me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
What the parents don't realize is that it is so important for a child to have individuality, and they have to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. They need to be able to analyze situations themselves. They need to understand what is real and what is non-real, unreal or non-factual.
Yeah.
They need to have the ability to sift through a lot of information and come to their own conclusion. To make that happen, parents should not spoon feed them with their own viewpoints. They should encourage difference of opinion.
Very true. And I think that also encourages children to become well-adjusted adults beyond a point, because as you said, they are supposed to go into the world not with their parents but alone, and they have to come across people, they have to come across colleagues whom again might have difference of opinion, difference of viewpoints, and they need to become adults who are open to it, who are tolerant towards it, and can actually reach a compromise if they are not able to convince each other. Then that has
Absolutely.
to be
So what the parents can actually teach the children is critical thinking. To be able to defend their viewpoint with facts, with analysis, and hence say that this is my viewpoint, and at the same time be open to learning new things and then having the ability to change their viewpoint.
Yes, very true. And so, as you mentioned in the beginning of this particular answer, that aggressiveness is sort of not a very good approach towards a parent-child relationship. And having said that, over the past couple of years, we've seen that parents are also understanding that aggression and being extra tough with their kids is probably not the ideal way of dealing with them. So how do you see humor as becoming a part of such situations, or situations of maybe conflict between parents and children? Like, how does it help out in the whole idea of parenting?
Humor is what I call a greasing of a machinery, right? It actually smoothen things out, and any situation which is fraught with tension or stress or anything like that can be made light by using humor. Now, why is it important? When you have differences of opinion, typically what people do is they take up strong positions. They like to stick to those positions. They try to defend it vociferously. The more they do that, the other person becomes even more raised, and then it just goes into a one vicious cycle of disagreement. And the moment you use light humor and to bring down that tension in the room, then people become far more receptive to listening to the other person. So humor is very critical, and parents need to proactively inculcate humor first in themselves and then in their children. Now, the interesting thing is that many of these abilities, people used to think they're inborn. You are either humorous or you are not humorous.
Right.
But that's not true. You can practice humor and you can become better and better at it. Read a lot of stories which are humorous. Read out humorous stories to children. Whenever something happens to you, which is, you fail in something or you look stupid, then laugh about it and make fun of yourself in front of your children. The more you laugh at yourself, the more they will connect with you, by the way.
Very right. And I think it also, again, trains children for a future that not everything is going to be easy and not everything is going to lead you to success. There are going to be situations where you fail. And at that point, rather than giving up, maybe laugh a little on yourself and maybe take the situation in a more lighter sense and not in a very headstrong manner, because after all, you have to move ahead of it, and moving on takes some amount of lightheartedness as well, because if you are very aggressive towards everything, then there is no end to any situation in life.
So Niharika, I've had so many setbacks in life, including 2 surgeries and 10 fractures and an autoimmune condition which makes me fall all the time, cataract operation, both eyes, all kinds of disasters, right? But I'm the happiest person I have met in my life, primarily because I have lots of sense of humor. And I keep saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get humorous. That is a way to handle tough situations.
Very right, sir. And sir, having talked about problems and issues, something that is a major part of adulthood is also taking risks. And when you take risks, there are situations where you fall, there are situations where you succeed. But the whole idea of taking a risk and going out of your comfort zone is very crucial to when it comes to taking some really major decisions in life. So how do parents prepare their children to take risks? How do they instill that confidence inside of them that they can be ready to take risks in life?
I love this question. So this is such an important question. So I want to just touch upon this concept called growth mindset, which is coined by a scientist, a psychologist in Stanford called Carol Dweck. Growth mindset is the belief that any ability can be acquired. And you're not born with a certain amount of ability, but you can keep adding on to it and become better at it or acquire an ability by practicing or employing the right strategies. Now, it is important. People with growth mindset, what they do is that they are willing to challenge themselves. They are willing to try out new things, because when they fail, if they fail, they know it's not a reflection on their ability, but it's a reflection on the amount of preparation that they have done. So they work harder to achieve it, and they have no problem trying out many new things. Because they don't feel bad about themselves by doing that. They just feel bad about the preparation they've done. Now, parents can cultivate this in their children by, number one is, when children do well in something, do not praise their intelligence or their beauty or their physical strength or whatever. Praise the amount of preparation that they have done to achieve that. The hard work, exactly. Or if they fail, do not say you are such an idiot, or you're dumb, or oh God, look at you, and things like that. But instead of that, say, hey, maybe you did not prepare well enough, right? So maybe next time you can prepare more. Encourage them like that. So it's always about the preparation and the way they address the issue rather than themselves, their own abilities. And this will help children then know that they have to prepare better and take risks and succeed. Number one. Number two, parents need to demonstrate risk-taking in their lives, right? I mean, role modeling risk-taking is a very important thing. So parents have to push themselves out of their comfort zone, be prepared to look like idiots at times, and then laugh about it and tell the kids, hey, look at me, I just did this, look at what a fool I made of myself. I think it's okay, right? But just be prepared to laugh about it. And slowly nudge children into doing things which are slightly more difficult. Every day, let them take on some small additional things without overprotecting them. And this is what a lot of parents do. They overprotect them. They want to, as you said in the first question, right? Parents want to make children completely secure in their lives.
Exactly.
Don't do that. Push them out of their comfort zone slowly, but I mean, not violently, but one little bit by little bit.
Very true. And I think, sir, even the best things in life don't always come inside of your comfort zone. You have to go beyond it. You have to make certain tough choices in life to probably get something bigger. That is probably a dream come true, or anything that could be a goal. So I think that's a very important thing to instill in kids. And these days especially, we are seeing that so many new opportunities are coming, so many new fields are cropping up. We see millennials and Gen Z becoming content creators and YouTubers. So right now we are talking about parenting in 2022, and a lot of millennials are out there who are becoming parents, young parents. So as an expert and as a parent yourself, what advice would you like to give out to such young parents who themselves are in a completely new zone, which has apparently not been experienced before this particular time, and who are also raising kids who will be sitting in the lap of technology and growing with it? So what would be your advice to them?
First thing is, be aware of the fact that you don't know anything of what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
You have no idea what the future is going to go like. What are the things which are going to be important? What kind of careers are going to come up? What kind of opportunities are going to come up? None of us have any idea, right? Because the world is changing so fast. So what do? What you can do is to prepare your children with some basic abilities to handle any kind of a situation which crops up. Ability to learn continuously, ability to take risks in life, ability to take ownership for their own lives, ability to create great network of people who will support them. These are the things that parents have to teach their children, so that irrespective of what happens, how the world turns around, the children will be able to land on their feet and maximize reality. Also build a sense of purpose in your children. So if you build a sense of purpose, they will be self-driven. They will want to achieve great things. And to build a sense of purpose, there are multiple things you can do. It's there in my book actually, so parents can read that. Also resilience. So we will all keep falling down once in a while. The ability to pick yourself up and then look for solutions instead of sitting there and crying and mourning about what has happened. That ability is also very critical.
Very, very important, right? I think
that's what young parents can do. Yeah.
I think that was a very nice way to sort of summarize the whole thing, because growth mindset needs to be there. If you think that your child knows better, then you would obviously be open to learning from them as well. And that will also instill in the child the sense of learning, because you are sharing your experience while sharing theirs. So I think that's a very major part of parenting in 21st century. And I am sure that young parents out there will be reading your book and learning a lot from it. And when we have people like you, experienced people like you, who are talking about their own experiences, it's a huge help to people out there who really need guidance in a lot of things, and of course parenting as well. So thank you so much, sir, for joining us today and for talking about modern parenting with us and talking about new practices in parenting. And this will definitely help out a lot of parents out there. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. And I hope everybody reads Active Parenting.
Yes.
And the next generation gets a benefit of it.
They will, definitely. I will also definitely encourage my listeners to go out, get their copy of Active Parenting and actually read it, because it is definitely going to help them out for sure.
Thank you, Niharika.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So this was Mr. G Vallath, who talked about his book, Active Parenting. He shared his own experiences with us. He talked about how humor can be such an active part of the entire process of parenting. He talked about how we can shape our children in a way that they are ready to take risks in. And that is exactly how you prepare your child for the future. So I would definitely recommend Active Parenting by G Vallath, so that you can know where you are right, where you are wrong, and learn to become the parents that your children need. For more such interesting chats, tune into our podcast, Cracking Conversations, every week only on ABP Live Podcasts. The scripting and the voiceover for this episode was delivered by me, Niharika Nanda, and the sound designing was done by Lalit. See you guys next week.
This is an ABP Live Podcast.